It's so nice to see all of you. Would you like to hear a story?
Yes.
Perfect, because that's what I came to do. But now we're going to go to Africa for a Bantu tale from Southern Africa. And this is another one of my favorite stories to tell. And we're going to get you to do a little bit of work in the story too, but you get to rest at the beginning. And I'll just tell you before we start that a good ways into the story, there's a wee joke. And I'm going to know if you get the joke. I bet you will. Once, long ago, in the land of the short grass, there was a great hunger. No rain fell and no grass grew. Ostrich, gazelle, giraffe, rabbit, tortoise, zebra, and all the other animals were hungry. They searched by the river. They searched in the jungle. They searched on the great flat plain, but they could find nothing to eat. Well, soon the animals gathered together and they said, "Let us all go and walk across the great flat plain until we come to something we can eat." And so all the animals, except Lion, who was king and lived in the jungle, started out across the flat, empty land. They walked and walked and walked until they came near the edge of the flat land. And suddenly, they realized they could see a little bump off in the distance. So they kept going. And when they got closer, they realized that that bump was actually a tree. And that tree was very tall. And that tree was filled with fruit. Such fruit as they had never seen before. It was as red as pomegranates, as yellow as bananas, as green as melons, as purple as plums, as orange as mangoes, and it smelled like all the fruits of the world. But that tree was so tall and its branches were so high that even giraffe could not reach the fruit. And the trunk of the tree was so smooth that even monkey could not climb it. Oh, the animals sat down on the ground and cried because the fruit smelled so good and they were so very hungry. Well, after a while, they didn't have the energy to cry any longer. And that is when very old tortoise spoke. "Oh, animals," she said, "my great grandmother told me a story about a wonderful tree. It was filled with delicious fruit that was so good for animals to eat. But it could be reached, that fruit, only by those who knew the name of the tree." Well, the animals all shouted, "What is the name of the tree? Who can tell us that?" Very old tortoise answered, and she said, "The king knows. We must send someone to ask him." "I will go," said Gazelle. "I am the fastest runner of us all." And the animals all nodded, for that was true. So Gazelle started off across the great flat plain. He ran like an arrow shot from a bow. And as he ran, he thought to himself, "Oh, the animals are so lucky that I offered to go, because no one can run faster than I." And indeed, it was not long before Gazelle crossed the great flat plain, went through the jungle, and came to the place by the river where the king lived. The king was sitting with his tail wrapped neatly around him. Every hair in his golden coat lay smooth and shining. He spoke kindly to Gazelle. "What do you wish of me?" "Oh, great king," said Gazelle, "all the animals are hungry, and we have found a tree with wonderful fruit on it, but we cannot reach the fruit unless we know the name of the tree." "I will tell you," said Lion, "but you must remember, because I do not want to have to tell anyone else. The name of the tree is Ungali." Everybody got that? Ungali. There we go. This is an important part that we're getting to. Well, Gazelle said, "I will run as fast as the wind, and I will get back to the tree before I can possibly forget." And he said to himself, "Ungali, Ungali, yes, I've got it, I've got it." So Gazelle thanked the king very politely, and then he turned and began to run back through the jungle and across the great flat plain. And as he ran, he thought, "Oh, the animals are all going to be so happy, and they'll be so grateful to me, and oh, it's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful day." And he was thinking so hard about all of that he did not notice a rabbit hole that lay right in his path. And he was going at full speed, and he stepped into that rabbit hole and went head over hooves, head over hooves, and he landed in a heap at the foot of the tree. All the animals jumped up and shouted, "What is the name of the tree?" Gazelle shook his head. He shook it again, but the name was gone. "I cannot remember," he said. Oh, all the animals groaned. "Oh, now we will have to send someone else," they said, "someone who will not forget." "I will go," said, what animal might remember? There we go. Well done, well done. "I will go," said Elephant. "I never forget anything." And she started off across the great flat plain. And as she walked, she said to herself, "I can remember anything I choose to. I'll have no problem with this task at all. Why, I can even remember the names of all my cousins." And Elephant had hundreds of cousins. Well, she crossed the great flat plain, went through the jungle, and she came to the edge of the river where the king lived. He was still sitting in his usual place, but the end of his tail was flicking, and his fur was a little ruffled. "What do you want?" he growled. "Oh, king," said Elephant, "all the animals are hungry." "Yes, yes, yes, I know all about that," said the king. "And you want to know the name of the tree with the wonderful fruit?" "Yes." "Well," said the king, "I will tell you, but I absolutely will not tell anyone else, so you had better not forget the name I tell you. The name of the tree is Ungali." Well done. Wow, Elephant. Well, she was offended. Let's be honest about it. She was offended. And she just turned and began to walk back out of the jungle. And as she walked, she thought, I will not forget the name of the tree. I can remember anything. Why, I know the names of every tree in this jungle. And she named them all to herself. And then she moved on to the names of the trees in the rest of Africa. And she was just starting on the trees of the rest of the world when she stepped in that very same rabbit hole that had tripped up Gazelle. And Elephant's foot was big, right? And it fit exactly into that hole. so exactly that she could not get it out again. Well, of course, the animals were sitting under the tree, and an elephant is a large creature, so they saw that she was there, and they saw that her foot was stuck, and they thought, well, we'll just run over and see her, and she can tell us the name of the tree, and then we'll get going on eating this fruit. But Elephant didn't speak to anyone. She pulled and tugged her foot, and she tugged and pulled until finally, in a great shower of dust and dirt, her foot came out of the hole. And the animal said, tell us, what is the name of the tree? I cannot remember, she said. And what is more, I do not care. That tree has caused far too much trouble already. Well, this time the animals were too tired and hungry to even groan. So they sat down again under the tree, and they were feeling terrible. And after a little while, very young Tortoise spoke. "Oh, animals," he said, "I will go to the king and ask the name of the tree." "You?" said the animals, "but you are so young, and you are so small, and you are so slow." "I know, but I know how to remember. My great-great-great-grandmother taught me how to do that. She was the one who told you about the tree." Well, the animals didn't really know what to say to that. And anyway, very young Tortoise had turned and started off across the great flat plain. It is true that he was very, very slow, but by putting one short leg in front of the other and keeping going, he crossed the great flat plain, went through the jungle, and came to the place where the king lived. The king was not sitting down this time. He was pacing up and down the bank of the river, and his tail was flicking, and his fur was all standing on end. "What do you want?" he roared. Very young Tortoise just stood and looked at the king, and then the king said, "I imagine you want to know the name of the tree with the wonderful fruit. Well, I will not tell you. I have already told Gazelle and Elephant that the name of the tree is ungodly, and I will not tell you." Did you see the joke? You got it. There we go. There you go. Someone really got it. That's terrific. Well, very young Tortoise nodded politely to the king, and then he turned around and he began to walk back through the jungle and across the great flat plain, and this is where you're coming in now. And as he walked, he said, "Ungali, Ungali. The name of the tree is Ungali." Let's help him out. "Ungali, Ungali. The name of the tree is Ungali." And he kept on saying it because that is what his great-great-great-grandmother had taught him to do. He kept walking and he kept saying, "Ungali, Ungali, the name of the tree is Ungali." Even when he got tired, even when he got thirsty, he did not stop. He just kept walking. Even when he fell right to the bottom of that very same rabbit hole, he just climbed back out saying, "Oh my gosh, do we need a nap?" All right, let's try that again. We ready? "Ungali, Ungali, The name of the tree is ungodly. And none of the animals saw him coming. They were all sitting under the tree looking down at the ground. So very young tortoise slowly made his way right to the foot of the tree. And then in the biggest voice he could muster, he looked up and said, the name of the tree, and I need volume this time, the name of the tree is? Ungodly. The animals looked up. They saw the branches of the tree bend down so low that they could reach the wonderful fruit. Now let's see if we remember about the wonderful fruit that was as red as yellow as green as melons. My goodness, you're a good group. As purple as plums. As orange as mangoes. And smelled, let's smell it. Oh, like all the fruits of the world. The animals ate. They ate until they could eat no more. And then they lifted very young tortoise high up in the air, and they marched around the tree chanting, Ungali, Ungali. The name of the tree is, big finish. Ungali. Yes, because they did not want to forget, and they never did. And that's the name of the tree.